Hey, good evening. It's like 9 o'clock p.m. and it's like breakups finally here. Ooh, yeah, last time I did a video here, it was like about this deep in snow. So yeah, things aren't greening up quite yet, but we've got about 16, 17 hours of daylight right now. I'm getting more every day, so things will start budding out here pretty soon. But today I wanted to go over a couple of comments and questions I had after my last video on bushcraft and survival knives, and answer some questions. And there were some pretty good comments, right? Especially about the notch in my knives that I put in the spines of my knives, right? Well, why the heck would you put a billy hook in a knife when you could just use a stick to pull your billy out of the fire? Well, the answer to that question, the origins of that, is actually with this knife right here, right? So about 45 years ago, I used to run down in the grasslands, and wood was pretty scarce, really hard to come by. So I ended up making fire out of manure, herbivore manure, actually, and that's what I've got going right now. Actually, I'll get that going here, and I'll show you. So this fire right here is mostly horse poop and moose poop, right? So yeah, it makes well, down south that was mostly like cow pies, and if you're lucky you found some buffalo too. But any dry poop, especially from ruminants, works pretty good. This is like the original wood pellet right there, right? Just check those fellows in the fire there, and it burns pretty hot, but it doesn't burn it's nearly as long as wood, and leaves as nice as coals too. But you gotta get when you get, that's all you got, right? So there is the origins of the billy hook, right? To this knife. Oh yeah, this knife's made out of car spring. A friend of mine made that for me. Yeah, it's about the ugliest knife in the world, I think, but it worked. But I could never keep it really, really, really sharp, right? It never held an edge really well. But I still like it a lot. Right? So I got a lot of use out of it. But the next question was on this fella right here, right? So this is the old hickory. It's been decided this is an old hickory, a 7-inch old hickory butcher knife. And the next question was wrapping it in that leather buckskin, right, like that. If it ever gets slippery when it gets blood and stuff on it, and the answer to that is it hasn't yet, not yet anyway. I've worked filleted fish with it and stuff like that too, so the fish slime and stuff gets on there, and it's kind of like the old Randalls and the old Kinfolk and even the K-bars and stuff like that. They have the old leather washers on there. I think it makes a better handle than the leather washers do. And you can see it's got a little bit of a belly right there too. So it's got a good grip, really nice grip there. So, and the next thing too is like, okay, so I called this my Navajo grind, right? So as you can see this, right? So there's it's a flat grind. The whole knife is basically a flat grind. And then I have just a little bit on that one. I just kind of knock a little bit off of that, but primarily I am right-handed, so the primary sharpening is done on the right-hand side of the blade, right? So I have not found any problem with it getting sideways or anything like that when I'm cutting meat or cutting fish or whatever. I've never had any problem whatsoever with it kind of straying off a little bit when I cut cheese, but not that bad. It's manageable, right? So I'm going to, if you believe it or not, I'm going to take this right now and I'm gonna baton with it. Yes, I am. Right. So batoning to me, right, is a function for an axe, right? I do baton, but it's usually if I'm just making kindling. Right, and that is basically it. So we've got a piece of birch here. It's not a huge piece of birch, but just to show you that it can happen, I'm going to baton this piece of birch. And then I'm going to just to prove to you that I can do it. And this knife can take it. Right? Now, just taking I'll feather stick it a little bit. Ooh, those little fine curls, right? And actually, I think this Navajo grind actually does a better job when you want to do something like this, like carving or something like that. It does a better job than the Scandi grind. It's just it's a chisel grind, right? So it's it does the job very fine. And that's a piece of birch too. It's dry birch, so but you very rarely see me feather sticking, right? When I'm out in the bush, I can always find primary, secondary tinder. Without having to go there, without having to feather stick. Although, if you're someplace where it's damp as hell and things like that, and you gotta split a standing dead, to get at some dry wood and things like that. I can see a feather sticking there to get some good primary tinder, but anyway, that works there. So yeah, that's pretty fine. It works, right? Now, knives are not meant for chopping. Not meant for chopping. Even my leku, you can chop a little bit with it, but you got to go to chopping stuff. That's for an axe, right? Or a hatchet or a tomahawk, or better than that even is a saw, right? So you should be, if you're out in the bush, you should have a saw, and you should have an axe of some type, tomahawk, something like that, right? So that's just common sense, right? So thank you, Mimi. Right? So, but I would never even attempt to chop anything with this. I'll slice the shit out of moose, but I'll never chop anything with this. But I'm gonna take you over and I'm gonna go cut a green alder here and show you that you don't really have to chop with something if you want something kind of small right there. Thank you, Mimi. So I'm gonna take you over there. We'll get over there. Right, so not a particularly big piece of alder. It's about an inch, something like that. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to just put it under, bend it a little, put it under a little pressure, and then I'm just going to, right where it's bending, I'm going to slide that in. See how easy that was? I didn't know chopping at all. It's like, and look at that. I mean, I know it's not very big, but you know, you get the point, right? So we're gonna go back over here and we'll finish this video up here. Hang on, Mimi. Yeah, so yeah, the bad thing about dung fires is they tend to be a bit smoky. So if you watch my other video, you know I don't think there is such a thing as the perfect bush knife or survival knife. And you know, you're not going to catch me out in the woods with less than 3 knives anyway, more likely 5 blades, but including an axe and a saw, right? So, but if I had to choose a single knife, and that's all I could get, and that's all I could take, right? I know I said my Leicu is like probably the best camp knife I've ever had, and I still think it is, right? It does a bang up job on lots of different things, right? And you can use it for lots of things. I can use pry with it and things like that, and that's okay, right? But if I was to pick one all around, though, it's this fella right here, this old hickory 7-inch butcher knife with a notch, and yeah, the Homer Skiff rescue. Yeah, it's tough as hell. The steel is awesome. It holds an edge forever. With the Navajo grind, it sharpens really easy, and it just goes through stuff just like butter. It just goes right through it. And you want to carve or carve wood, carve meat, carve fish. This guy right here didn't get the job done. Yeah, and in a hurry. And yep, this was a great find. I never thought it would be, but you know, just plain old hickory. Anyway, we'll talk to you later, mate.